Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Carson, and if you're new here, I recently completed the 2024-2025 AA school application cycle, and I got accepted, and I'll be attending NSU this May. I want to go over my full AA application. I watched all these videos for medical students like Shauna Anderson and Rachel Southern, so I wanted to contribute my video for AA school, and I hope this helps with the nerves and what to expect and just, understanding the process a little more. I'm gonna go over my GPA, my courses, my prereqs that I had unfinished, my GRE, a questionable quant score that still got me in. So my application is by no means perfect. And I just wanna show you guys that you don't have to be a perfect student to get into AA school. Okay, let's hop into this video. Got my laptop. I redacted a lot of information that's personal, so I hope that is okay with you guys. And I'm just gonna do a little screen share. I applied to a lot of schools, as you can imagine. This is the very last application I submitted, I think. So this is, and it's the one that I saved, so whatever. They're basically the same. It's just like, for some of my early applications, I had prereqs done at different places, or like I was planning on doing them at a different location. So that's the only difference. Oh, and I added one more experience because I got a new job. And it's the same kind of job, like I was scribing previously, and then I transitioned to a new scribing job because I moved to Dallas. So that's like the only difference between this application and my other applications. So as you can see, St. Louis University, SLU, School of Medicine. Okay, my name's up here. My application status is verified. Okay. And then it starts off with some biographical information. So I think mainly this is the stuff you'd fill out in the personal information section on CASAA. So I got my name, gender, birth information. Obviously I'm just going to, this section has a lot of redacted information, addresses. I was moving at the time when I submitted a lot of applications, so I had made my parents' address because they were gonna be there permanently as the address. Okay. And then it shows US citizen, and my state residency is Colorado, Boulder County. Okay. And then it has some race and ethnicity questions. Going on to the next page, talking about if you're economically disadvantaged and like where you're from. So yeah, biographical information continued. So I'm a no. I'm from a mid-sized city. Okay. Have you previously attended a health professional program? I obviously have done none. Have you ever been disciplined by any college, university, or professional school for 1, unacceptable academic performance, 2, conduct violations? So yeah, these couple questions are more talking about any legal issues or school issues. So I am none of these, which is great. Okay, now we're getting into the spicy stuff. I also took off some pages that weren't relevant, so I took off any school specific questions. Like usually the school will have a set of questions to answer, so I just took off anything related to St. Louis University because I don't think it's super important to add. We're getting into the academic history, so I think this is all the stuff you'd fill out in the academic history section of CASAA, as well as things that you would have submitted to CASAA, like GRE. I don't think Casper is going to show up on here. I mean, I didn't have to submit Casper for St. Louis University, and I didn't save any of the applications that required the Casper, so I'm not sure where that would show up on here. Anyways, so official GRE, got the verbal, quantitative, and analytical writing. It's interesting how they have 2 sets of scores. And I'm assuming that this is the difference between maybe when I took it, what the percentiles were, versus when they received my application, what the percentiles are. Because I remember I was looking at percentiles, and I was aiming for a particular percentile, right? Because a lot of schools have a minimum. And so I basically remember at one point I saw the updated percentiles and I was confused of why did the numbers change? And I think it's because it was new cycle or something like that, like a new updated percentile score. Obviously the percentiles went down for me because I guess people started scoring better all of a sudden. So yeah, that was rough. But my verbal score is great, 89th percentile. And quant, as you can see, this is where I really struggled with. It was originally 42%, which is like what I was aiming for because the 40th percentile was the minimum for a lot of schools. And of course it was the 36th percentile updated, so that sucks. The quantitative section was just like such a huge struggle for me, and I really did try so hard too. Like, this is not from lack of trying. That's all I got to say. Anyways, I think that's a whole nother video, so I don't want to go into too much detail. Analytical writing, I did not study this. I don't think it's super important, so. And then colleges attended. I went to Yonsei University initially. These are the dates. Still there currently, no. Primary, no. Okay. And I got no degree there. So, moving on. University of Colorado Boulder, which is where I went during these dates. State in Colorado. Still currently, no, because I graduated. Primary, yes. Okay, major was physiology. My major was integrated physiology, but that's basically the same. Okay, status, degree expected, and Bachelor's of Arts and Sciences. Yep, and I got my degree in May. Dallas College Richland campus and University of San Diego. This is the extended studies. I was both taking at the time when I submitted this application. So, yep, I was there currently. You can see that right here. And yep, they weren't my primary. Texas and then California. These are the dates. Yeah, no degree defined, obviously, because I was just taking some final prereqs. Okay, now some more juicy info. My grades. Yes, I'm being an open book with you guys. This is starting at University of Colorado at Boulder because Yonsei University doesn't show the breakdown of courses, I don't think, unless the school received a report separate from this from WES directly, I don't know. So University of Colorado at Boulder, yep, you can pause this if you want to look in more detail. You can see here, lecture only, lab only. So you can see grades, and this is the grades I put in, and then CASAA kind of outputted the grade as well. I don't know what system they use for evaluating that. What I put in was the same grade that CASAA outputted, so I had no issues there. And as you can see, separated by semesters. Okay, yep, put in the course code exactly how it is on the transcript or the course catalog. Lecture only, lab only, yep. Organic Chem, B-, which really sucked. I didn't do super well at the beginning of my college career at Yonsei University. I started doing better around my second half of sophomore year. So I was really working on that upward trend. So this kind of sucked a little bit, but it was honestly such a hard class, and I don't know, I don't want to say I gave it my top effort because honestly it was super hard to motivate me to study for organic chem because it was just so boring, so boring for me. I never experienced a class that uninteresting to me before in my life. Oh yeah, this kind of stung too. This Gen Chem 2, oh my gosh. It wasn't necessarily a super hard class, but the way that they gave tests at CU Boulder and Gen Chem, it was not very long exams, and so it's you really just don't have a lot of room for error. Took one summer class. That was a really fun class, Neurophys. Very interesting. Yeah, now we're into my senior year. I'm a super senior at this point. So exercise phys. Yep, that was a really cool class. But honestly, this semester in general is just so hard for me. Mainly because of this class, this human anatomy laboratory. It was a cadaver lab, which was really fun, but the class was so hard, so hard, that it kind of it could have been fun, but it ended up not being fun at all. I don't think I've studied for a class as much as I studied for that class. I don't even want to relive it because that's not the topic of the video, but it is what it is. Okay. Yep, I also did this TA stuff for physiology lab. Okay, I had to redo a lot of my writing classes that I took at Yonsei. Yeah, so I think we're good here. This is good to see, is this physics class. They combined lab and lecture into a 5-credit course. So here I got to input that it was a lab and lecture combined. So that was nice. Okay, so these are the classes that I had left. I needed to finish, these are for prereqs for most schools. So College Physics 2, which this is algebra trig based, and it was a lab and lecture combined. And I took this at Dallas College, Richland campus, and then University of San Diego, UCSD Extended Studies. And I had 3 courses that I took here. These are all done in the fall semester, so it was quite a busy semester. Not gonna lie, even though I was graduated and I thought it was gonna be like a chill semester or chill time period, but I was doing interviews and I had like all these courses to do and I was working, so it was kind of hard, not gonna lie. So I had 4 prereqs left, so that's kind of like a big point to mention in my application. And maybe it's like something that held me back a little bit is having so many prereqs undone. I mean, I don't think 4 is that bad because like I basically apply in the summer and then I have that fall semester and then spring semester and then in some cases that summer semester to finish prereqs. So I feel like that's not bad, but honestly, I think some schools don't like it if you have a lot of undone prereqs, which I can understand. I think for Emory, they even had a limit on like, I think they said 4 was the max that you could have undone. So I just hit that and I got an interview, so that's good. But I do think it was probably like one of those points that maybe made my application a little less competitive. But I think one thing to say is I did take human physiology and biochemistry at Yonsei University at an international school, which means that AA programs will not accept that as a prerequisite because you have to take them in the US. I didn't know that when I moved abroad for school, and that is why I transferred to CU Boulder. And it took me 2.5 extra years to graduate. Sorry. It was a great experience though, so no regrets. And then here is the WES report. So this is all they basically show is undergrad. The GPA was a 3.33 and the credit hours were 87. That's not a bad GPA, 3.33. But the issue is if you break it down by science GPA, it's probably a lot lower. Because I did fine in my non-STEM courses, which is kind of bringing the GPA up, right? And so if you split it from STEM classes, it would probably be not good. But I learned a lot from that situation and I became such a better student and just balancing life in general. And as you can see, I think I have done quite well at CU Boulder. So I'm very proud of that. Okay, and here we go. This is very interesting how they have spliced up my GPA. So, and this does not include this 3.33 or any of the courses I took at Yonsei University. Okay, so GPAs by school. At this time, they did not have my UCSD and Dallas College transcripts because I had not finished those courses yet. But I'll just say I got an A in college physics 2. I got an A in human physiology. I think I got an A or A minus in biochem at UCSD Extended Studies and a B plus in calculus. So I think that's what I got. And I deserved those grades. Like in calculus, like it was really hard for me because I kind of avoided math basically my whole college career, like totally. And then the GRE, I obviously had to learn a lot of math, relearn a lot of math, so that was good. But obviously calculus is like a whole other beast and I tried really hard, but I definitely, it definitely didn't do as well as, I didn't deserve an A, I should say that, and that's fine. So my overall cumulative GPA at Boulder was a 3.77. My mathematics GPA, 3.7, which I think only includes my biostats class. My intro to data science and biostats, which is an A minus in 4 credits. Okay, and then I have 53 credit hours in science, which is a 3.7. Again, I'm very consistent. Okay, go me. Okay, social sciences, 6 credit hours, and 4.0. Yay! I'm assuming it's special topics in authoritarianism in the digital age, and my communications course, which I had to take for CU Boulder's like diversity credit. And then post-bac, obviously I had not submitted those grades because they didn't exist. Cumulative undergrad, oh my gosh. Okay, so quality points. I was like, what? Okay. Cumulative undergrad, same. Okay, yep, 3.77. Graduate, have not done any graduate work. And my overall. So it's interesting that they split it up into like the main math, science, social science. I think it's interesting. It's only 6 credits of social science. Whatever. Anyways, so okay, and now we go into my extracurriculars. So I'm not gonna go over my descriptions because I feel like that's a little too personal, and I don't want like you guys to feel like that's the way to do it, because I think it's best to watch videos like Med School Headquarters videos. I think he's amazing and his team do amazing work for activity descriptions. My first extracurricular is my undergrad TA position, and this was at CU Boulder. I did receive academic credit for it, so this would have been my physiology lab TA job. And so these are the time periods. It was part-time. Yeah, and you just approximate these times and hours. So yeah, permitted to contact. This is the supervisor, so I blocked that out. Again, I have another undergrad teaching assistant job. It's also at CU Boulder. I did receive academic credit, I guess. So I'm pretty sure this is for my human anatomy lecture. Another undergrad teaching assistant job. I love teaching, which is partially why I'm doing this YouTube channel too. So this is compensated. And I was a summer, this is at CU Boulder. So I was working as a assistant TA for the summer chemistry lab. And I could have chosen to continue this and have it be paid. Like the whole point of this experience was to train us to work going forward, but I don't know, I kind of got bad vibes from the department, and I also had gotten another TA position, so I just thought I would just spread myself too thin. And I'm like really big on like the people you're working with is super important, so I wanted to surround myself with people that I genuinely enjoyed and I thought were nice. So anyways, that's all behind me. Oh yeah, so this is I added this experience later because this was my new job as a scribe in Dallas. So I hadn't been working yet, it's whatever. Okay, and this is probably my biggest healthcare experience. This is my clinical experience as an emergency department scribe. I worked for Scribe America, and this was at the Anschutz campus. So huge academic hospital. It was an amazing experience, and I think scribing is great. And yeah, I mean, maybe I'll make a whole another video about, scribing, I don't know, but I think it was a great experience, and working in the emergency department, you really do get exposed to anesthesia, which is fun, and a ton of other specialties. So I think that's a really cool thing about scribing. Now we're getting to my research. So this was compensated. I was a student research assistant at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, and this is at the Anschutz campus as well. It was a sleep study, and I was kind of like responsible for the protocol and making sure that our patient was safe. Because it was a sleep study, not that many people wanted to do it, so it was honestly kind of inconsistent. But I think it was a cool experience, and just to be involved in clinical research was really an amazing opportunity. And the fact that it was paid was also just shocking, because I feel like, students are kind of taken advantage of a little bit. Ooh, my shadowing, anesthesia shadowing. Volunteered because obviously you don't get paid to shadow. And I did this also at the Colorado School of Medicine. And it was temporary, right? Because I only did it once. Total weeks, 1 week, 11 hours. So yeah, it was really hard to find shadowing for me, honestly. The AA program for the University of Colorado had a application you could submit, and then they would pair you up with an AA that you could shadow for the day. They have, the University of Colorado has like really strict shadowing limitations, so you can really only do, I think it's around 11 or 12 hours per year. So, and I had shadowed a physician at the University of Colorado the previous year. So I think I made it within like a week of when I could like actually start shadowing again, which is crazy because like, as you guys all know, it's like you need a lot of hours to be competitive. I think the minimum for most schools is like 8 hours of shadowing, so I kind of like barely squeaked in. So I think that's also something, was probably a little bit of a struggle with my application, or something negative about my application was my shadowing hours or lack of shadowing hours. And if I didn't get in, I probably would have increased those hours. So I think that's it for my experiences. And then we're gonna go into achievements. So I graduated with distinctions because I had an above a 3.7 GPA at Colorado U at CU Boulder. Then I made the dean's list multiple semesters, so I added that. I didn't write a huge description because I feel like it's not unnecessary. And then this is, I guess, pretty big too, and it kind of goes into research as well. So I got first place in this 2 university-wide research competition. It was something where like you could submit a research idea, a proposal as a group. They would accept a certain amount of teams and fund them to do some research. And so I kind of just wrote about that experience, and we actually won the whole competition, which is crazy. And we're gonna do more because like it was only like a year. And then we were gonna do more research after that, like continue our idea. And we got more funding. I think it was like, I don't know, something crazy like $6,000 or $10,000 to do more research. But then like COVID hit, so like everything shut down. So that never happened, like we just had to stop. So I just talked about that. So this was at Yonsei University. I think that's all I wanna say about my activities. So you can see I have a mixture of research and clinical experience as well as TAing. So now we're into the personal statement. Okay. Please explain your motivations for selecting a career in healthcare and specifically why you're interested in becoming an anesthesiologist assistant. Describe how your personal and professional background will help you achieve your career goals and ultimately suit you for this profession. So I just blocked this out. I really don't know if I'm going to go over my personal statement. I'm like kind of an insecure writer, I'm not gonna lie. Jesse Hayward, who also makes videos about AA stuff, he did a video about his personal statement. He got accepted to actually University of Colorado. So go watch that video if you really want to read a personal statement right this minute, but I'll think about it. Okay, and then my evaluations, you can see how it looks. And you can kind of see the dates that I requested in the middle of March, requested all in the middle of March. All of them got back to me pretty quickly by April, like first week of April. So I got it from 2 professors that I was a TA for, and then my chief scribe at my scribe job, which I guess is a little bit different because a lot of people will ask a physician that they scribe for. But honestly, like because I worked at the ED at Anschutz, there were so many physicians, like probably over like, I don't know, like I can't even count, probably at least over like 80 physicians. And so I would work with one physician and then not see them again for like 3 months, which is crazy. But it's just, you know, how it is when you work at a hospital like that. And so honestly, I did not feel like I formed like a tight enough bond with the physicians. And I'm sure like I could have asked a couple of them and they probably would have said yes. But I was trying to think of like who would write me the best letter of rec and who knew me the most and who could like talk about me as a person the most. And I just felt like the chief scribes could. And then this is like, they asked for like a CV/resume, usually on the document section of the tabs for schools. So I was a little confused about how to do this, but I can't remember. I'm basically just copying what I inputted into my CASAA. So my education, my experiences. Yeah, I'm not sure if this was correct or not, but I just did it this way. And then here is the shadowing form for SLU specifically. So each school has their own shadowing form. You can find it on their website. Make sure you find that school's shadowing form. Do not submit another school's shadowing form to the school. They'll consider it lazy and probably rude. So this is for SLU. And this is what this one looks like. They all kind of look the same. You know, applicant, date of shadowing, number of hours shadowed at the hospital, University of Colorado, Anschutz Medical Campus, the anesthesia provider, their email, and the signature. So that's basically what they'll all look like. Yeah, that's the video. Whoop. Now I've opened myself up to you guys. If you like this video, please check out my other videos about the AA application and interviews. I wish you guys the best of luck on your journeys as well, and I hope this video helped in some way. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.